Hi everyone. Well, this is Deb from Deb Web Art. I just thought I would share with you what my thought processes for the day. So, I've got a huge amount of journals, and so I decided, let's just pull one out. Let me look and see what's in it. Well, I must admit, these journals have been going since like 2014, so things change. So some of the things in here are a little frightening. But anyway, the point is that when I opened it up, I remembered that this particular journal has black pages, which is quite lovely. So even though this image is a little disturbing, for me, I can see fault with it, it's done with coloured pencil. And coloured pencil, as you can see, works really well on black paper. So this one was oil pastel, and I've obviously sealed it because I can't even feel the oiliness of it, so I wish I remembered what I'd done. I know that I put down clear gesso and then I created on top of that, so it's wacky but fun. And then this check is a little disturbing to say the least, but there were some sparkly bits here which I think I know what it was. And so, as with everything, there are pages that you just don't get to. So I opened it up, and I saw this page, and I thought, ooh, I think I'm going to turn this into, I don't know, just a fun exercise where you can see how just having random things just stuck down. I had painted on this paper, which was it was a hand-me-down paper from packaging. You know, when you work in retail sometimes, there's all sorts of packaging, and the paper was actually quite nice. It had these lines through it. Anyway, so I remember I just painted over it, and then I put it aside. So I thought, it's collage paper, I'll use it sometime. And then I stuck it down, and I can feel that I have sealed over the top with clear gesso because it's got like a rough texture. So if I wanted to, I could do chalk pastels on top or any of that sort of thing. But I just thought I gathered some colours. I do not know if I'm going to use all these, but I gathered some, mostly Matisse Flow, which is an Australian brand, and a Jo Sonja paint just stuck in the middle. Okay, so I got a few blues, purples, magenta kind of going, as well as a midnight blue, which is nice and dark, and it's opaque, which I thought would be good for contrast. Then I also I saw this fluoro pencil and thought, ooh, adding a spot of fluoro could work nicely. I grabbed some inks. Now I'm unsure on the colors because this one is complete contrast to everything that I've got, but I thought if I needed contrast, that might be a good thing. And also a dark one, which is indigo. Okay. And the other thing that I've grabbed is oil pastels, Neocolor oil pastels. So these are the things I've got on the table with me, along with water, obviously, and paper towel, and then a palette. And I know it's a disposable palette, but very often I squirt whatever paint has been on here and I wipe it off and then I just reuse. So I don't end up throwing away each piece each time I've created, which I think is a little bit of sustainability on my part. Okay, so let's see how we go. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a time lapse, which just means it's going to go real fast. I will slow it down a little bit so you can actually see what's going on. And I'm just going to pull out, like usually when I'm starting something like this and I look at it and I'm trying to get inspiration, I have nothing in mind. The only thing I have in mind is I'm going to enhance the darks, because sometimes when you pull out the darks, you see more contrast, and then you can get a bit more of an idea of where you want to go. And you know what? It could look amazing. It could look awful, but unless you go for it, well, you don't really know. So that's my fun today, just creating a bit of abstract art with this abstract collage. So let's see how that goes. So as I said, I started with the darks. I do get distracted because I start with some darks and then I think, oh, let me go in and put this colour in and that colour. So it kind of evolves. It doesn't strictly go all the darks and then, the other colours. But because I think that's part of the intuitive process, I think you need to run with it. If something, if you suddenly look and think, oh, I think I want to put that colour there, don't be too strict on yourself, because remember, this is just play. This is just you having some fun and enjoying the process. So it needs to not be too strict, too structured. And that is the joy that is abstract art. Whilst it has meaning in certain instances, in this particular instance, I'd like to say it was very much just about play and playing with the paints and the colours and just seeing what comes of things. So what I did was I chose those colours and then I just did variants of the colours. So as you can see, this is the first step. There's still quite a lot of paint to be, places to be covered. And I just added, bits of white to the colours, or every now and again I mixed a colour as well, but stuck with just those basic colours that I had. So, I just operated, as I say, intuitively. I did bring in that aqua green colour simply because I wanted a different colour to kind of pop. I didn't want it to all be kind of monochromatic. And mostly I used just a square tip brush. A lot of the brushes were not very precious to me, so what that does for me is it makes me be able to just kind of give more of a scrubby look. So sometimes when I wanted things to blend, I kind of scrubbed a little bit with the acrylic paint, and that just made it get more smushed, and so then, when I leave it like this and I take a photo, I often will go off and do something else, have a cup of tea, and then come back to it. And what it does, it just allows you to operate with fresh eyes. When using the inks, I often will drop directly onto the page. I will use, what's that called? Not just paper towel, but I'll also use wet wipes to just allow the ink to blend a bit more. I will use a stick which spreads the ink sometimes. I will use the back of the stick to create dots. And then I've got my trusty paint pens, and lately I've been not only using Posca but also Pilot Pinot Pin. I'm not going to say that again. I don't know what it is. But they've actually been really good. I'll make sure I've made a note of the products I used. So it's honestly, this is just pure fun. It really is. And then I just went back in with my little pointy brush. I love this brush. And just went and did a bit of darks, a few contrasts here and there. And then went a bit nuts with some black pen. I must admit, when you're halfway through something and you're doing it and you think, God, why did I start this? That was like that with the black dots. It was, anyway. So, it's really fun just mark making, because once again, you're not really thinking, you're just having a bit of fun playing. And this pencil I thought might smush a bit, but it didn't, so I grabbed a Prismacolor white, which is quite soft, and then just proceeded to make it a little bit more smushy. So that was a bit of fun. Yeah. I liked adding the pink, and it's good to note though, when you do add some fluoro, that if you do want to make any prints anywhere, the fluoro won't scan, so the print has to be made from a photograph. It's just good to know that sort of stuff, because sometimes with this, what it does, it gives me ideas. I might not like the whole thing, but I will like parts of it, and then what I'll do is it'll give me an idea for a future piece. And that's why it's good to play. It's really good to just let yourself go and just do these things, because it gives you all these ideas. As you're doing it, it sparks it. Or you look back and you think, ooh, I really like this. And then that sparks something else for you. So that's why it's important to play. Yeah, it really is. And then also, if you are into creating merchandise, you can also take parts of this and like just sections, and that can become a pattern for fabric, or a pattern for something that you want to put on your merchandising. So it's definitely, there's a lot going on there, and you might find little parts of it that you really like, and then that's what you do. So what I did here was I just kind of zoomed in, and by the time I did it, it was actually nighttime, so the lighting would have changed a bit, and that's why you see a shadow as well. But when you zoom in, you can still see some parts where the paper is underneath. You see the texture, and other parts. There were certainly parts that I didn't like as much, but I don't like to dwell on that. It just is what it is, and as I say in the end, I will probably come back to it and carry on playing, because it really is quite addictive when you get started, and it's just so rewarding. So yeah, hope you had fun watching. Right, so in the end, I was gonna do stuff in these black marks, and then just thought, no, sometimes they just need to be there, just create some interest. And I literally just operated it intuitively, but very often when I put something somewhere, I usually will put it in different places again. So, with the neo pink, which I quite like, you put it in a few places, and then it just kind of brings it all together. This one just happened after that one, and I was like, oh yep, that looks like it links. I wasn't thinking about it at the time, but when I looked back, I was like, oh, that actually links. The parts that I do think about are if I've put, so like I put some dots here, and then went, oh yeah, I need to put them at least in another place. I should have them in a third place, but I was like, no, I think that'll work. You have to kind of be able to look around. And I think this is busy enough that you're looking at all the different parts. And when it's this kind of work, you literally could keep going. I can still see places that I'm like, oh, I think maybe I'll add a bit of white there, and I'll do this here. And so it just builds up. So that's why I like doing these sorts of exercises in a journal, because then when you're finished, or when you think you're finished, you can just pop it away. And later, like I did today, you pull it out, and then you just keep on having a bit of fun. So it's a really fun exercise. If you've got a page that you've just stuck a whole collage down on, do yourself a favor and look for the dark first. That'll give you like a starting point, and then start filling in some colors. And for me, I always choose the colors first. I chose the blues with touches of pink because because there was blues on the papers. So allow them to kind of guide you. Yeah, so give it a go, and let me know how you go. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.